Hi guys, and welcome to Classical Crossword Magazine's videocast series, Connections. In this interview series, we'll get to know performers in the classical crossover genre, and also some other performers who have crossed paths and therefore have connections with our classical or crossover sides. Today's interview is with a very special composer who comes to us all the way from Russia.
Hi, everyone. Tonight we're so excited to be interviewing the wonderful pianist and composer, Olga Thomas. Hi, Olga.
Hello, delighted to be with my favorite classical crossover magazine. Absolutely favorite.
Yay.
Thank you for inviting.
We're so happy. It's so nice to talk to you. I remember the first time I think I really heard you speak, because mainly I just hear you, I see you all elegantly in your pictures, but I think like when I really heard you speak was on the Flowers on the Doorstep promos, and you're so calm and so serene. So are you like a very calm person, or?
I cannot say I'm a very calm person, but I absolutely love to talk to people whom I like, for the causes I like,
Yeah.
and it makes me. I think that is what calms me. I would say that I'm worried all the time. I even have one piece which is more or less a reflection of me. My friends always were mocking me for being so not calm, and they were singing when I was worried all the time, the ta 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 ta, insecurity alert, and I wrote the piece which is called Insecurity Alert, about my being so calm.
Okay, well, you totally fooled me with your serene promos for this. So congratulations, you have another #1.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
So let's go back a little bit. We'll come back to your new single, but let's go back a little bit. So you actually were brought up in Moscow, is that right?
I was born in Moscow, and I spent my first 28 and little bit more years of my life being in Moscow. Yes.
Do you have like a favorite childhood memory from being there?
I have few favorite childhood memories, and I would say they all played quite a part in my life. When I was 5, I composed my first piece.
Really?
That was quite a special childhood memory, yes. And I did it with one finger, because then I didn't know how to properly play the piano, but I did it. And then I used this tune for Western production, the Cherry Orchard, as one of the leitmotifs. I didn't tell anybody when I've done it. My second piece, I was fascinated with music boxes, and it was another childhood memory, because it was first piece which I properly composed and was able to play with 2 hands. It was called Music Box. I was fascinated with music boxes, and my first piece was a music box. I think it could have now passed for associated board for the beginners, so it is pretty all right, I would say. It's an interesting piece. Now I can judge, and then I decided I just have to start collecting music boxes, what I do. So after that, been so fascinated. And another childhood memory, when for the first time I heard Lara theme from Dr. Zhivago. It was forbidden in Russia because it's Pasternak enemy, but it was like pirate music, which was brought on old type of vinyl, I think they call it them then. Yeah. And I was totally fascinated by that. And I decided, I'm definitely going to be a composer. That's it. That is my, I would say, very significant childhood memory.
And how old were you when you made that decision?
I was 9.
9. And you stayed true to it. That's awesome.
I took it through my life and brought it to realization. It's wonderful, a great feeling. When you in childhood, we usually dream about some silly things. I never wanted to be a princess. I never wanted to be one of these strange desires which girls play. I wanted to be a composer, because I was fascinated by hearing beautiful music, and I wanted to create it. That's it.
Now, did you listen to any female composers when you were younger growing up, or did you just have a just general favorite composer?
It was film music usually. I was interested in audiovisual, so that was something which naturally lended itself to classical crossover, clearly. So that was always. So film music was fascinating for me. And I would say Nino Rota, who composed for all Fellini's films, he was my very big inspiration. My teacher composer in conservatoire was also a great film composer as well as classical, Edison Denisov, the one who told me not to change anything, not to learn anything, just to be a raw material and to stay, not to turn into cliche. But he was friend of Nino Rota, and for me it was very special that he recognized that he said that he hears something of him in my music and he loves it. So yes, I would say he was my most inspirational, because in Russia, they had great composers in Russia, but a type of, when I was growing up, it was much more sort of Soviet Union, rather political hooray type of, again, cliche. So it wasn't so inspiring. I was appreciative of it as a certain limited field, but my interest was always to bring through the music something visual, to make through my music people to see something, to give the visual image. And that is why I would say my main inspiration was Nino Rota.
Yeah, no, that's very interesting you say that, because you kind of see, like, classical compositions through history that were so strong, but then it does seem like they kind of went into film music. It was like the place where you can still hear, and people don't even realize it, all these beautiful soundtracks.
No, they don't realize it. And it is a lot of similarities. It's not even sometimes in the great films, we can hear great famous classical music like Rachmaninoff, his love tunes. But if I hear music by Charlie Chaplin's films, it is, some of them are very Tchaikovsky-like, very romantic, very rich. And in his films, I don't mean his silent films which he composed, his famous films, which became na da 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 da, that sort of music. It is quite classical, I would say. Yeah.
Now, so I have a friend from Belarusia. Her name is also Olga, and it seems like maybe you guys specialize a little earlier in music. So by the time you're in high school, you're already pretty much studying the track of music. Is that right?
Absolutely. That is very Russian way to start early, the same as with ballerinas, and to practice. To practice. And I would say that I was entering a school for musical children. So at the age of 6, I had to present them with 3 pieces per repertoire and be in the competition by the age of 6 to be elected. So, and then every 4 years you had to have exam where they were checking whether you are worth it to stay and learn further, or to be kind to you and tell you early you are not going to be professional, because that was to become a professional. So pretty early we had to show our fantastic abilities, and then by the age of, I would say, about age of 14, after 8 years of studying, they had a crucial exam which was deciding whether you are going to be really top professional, then you can continue studying and go further. Or after 8 years, they were giving you certain certificate and you could go and complete your education any way you like, to be able to teach, to be able to do something a little bit lighter. Companies, but if you wanted to go for whole way up as a career, then you studied another 3 years and then you had to continue. You were not given any certificate to work. You had to continue studying for another 5 years. In my case, it was conservatoire. So altogether, from the 11 years at school and 5 years in conservatoire. So it is 16 years of proper music education. By the time you finish, you have to be totally accomplished.
Yes, it sounds like it. So you had
every meaning of this word.
Yes. I mean, it's great though, because I do think, like, our system in the US, you do a lot of other classes like in university that may not be for your major. So it's great that you get that extra time really spending on what's important.
Yeah. And of course, they teach us at the same time as music some other things in order to prepare us in case if we, for some reason, won't be able to continue. That's why we have to have very clear academic education with a slight accent towards literature, history, rather than math and physics, though we do it on a certain level, chemistry, all that we had to learn. But literature and history were going pretty deep in case, because they thought that somehow for musicians it is a bit closer.
So did you start working a little bit as a pianist and composer in Russia, or did you come like right away to Hollywood after you were finished studying?
So in Russia, I composed in secret. I did a lot of things in Russia in secret. I was going to the church in secret. I composed in secret, and only my teacher, Edison Denisov, knew it, because I was so worried that somebody would tell me, oh well, it's okay. And then for me, it was so sacred that I thought if somebody would say it's okay, I will decide I can't do it anymore and close it. They could tell about everything. It's okay, but about that I wanted to say it's fabulous, it's number one. And that is why I was scared to show it off. That's why I was mainly keeping it a secret and covering it under being a pianist, a professional performer, a music historian, and everything, but that was my secret thing, only because I was protecting it from somebody saying, like, they could, okay, another composer, or female composer. They had quite a stigma in a way that female composer. I even had one episode related to female composer, because female composers were given special green light always, because they wanted to encourage it, and they didn't really have to be particularly good. So that was in Soviet Union. And when I was doing music for one of West End productions here, one of my co-worker who was doing theater set designer, he was very famous designer, but he happened to be from Russia. They specially invited him because it was the cherry orchard. They wanted to have few people, at least, although I was English, but still Russian born. They wanted to have composer with Russian roots, and they invited him. He was head designer of Bolshoi theater in Russia. So, and first thing he said, okay, I understand what I'm to expect. A female composer, my bloody luck, forgive my friend, that's what he said. Yeah, and then, and my friends told me, you have to put him in his place. I said, absolutely no way. The only way he will find his place if he likes my music. I'm not going to tell him off, and I will just keep going. And he fell in love with my music so much that I had to fight with him. He wanted to put it everywhere. I was telling him, no, we can't have everywhere because we kill the impact. But I love this. I said, okay, I will especially give you a CD of it. And he told me later that he said, I'm taking my hat off. It was totally misconception, because I was brought up on these Soviet female composers who were just sort of for reasons to promote females, and he didn't expect it. So for me, it was great recognition, I would say, from somebody who was against it. So that is why I was a female composer. Okay. But in England, I opened up, totally opened up and became myself. I said, England gave me wings, Natasha.
Oh, so you went from Russia to England then?
I went from Russia to England when I was 29 years old, approximately, and been here now for 30 years.
Wow, nice. I've only been to England once, very short. Would love to come back. It seems like a lovely place.
Yes, I hope you will, and I very much love traveling to America. Hopefully when all the restrictions will be over and we together all over the world joining forces will manage to handle the situation. We will be seeing each other again personally, not only virtually. Yes.
Absolutely. So tell us, so you said like your composing is like a background app where you're always composing. So do you have like funny stories of times when you're composing during like everyday life?
Yeah, yes, my friends have a lot of funny stories when they're worried when we're staying somewhere with you, like, by the way, airport, they, Olga, move on. And I said, what do I look like? Yeah, you look like, but I exaggerate. It's very funny. My funny stories when I was composing non-stop was when I was learning to drive. And I was driving my driving instructor to mad. Yeah, I was driving him mad, really, while learning to drive, because all the time, whatever I saw outside, I was starting composing something. And he said, Olga, stop it. You have exam. You have your test. Just start concentrate. I said, yes, I know I'm concentrating on the road. And it was very funny when it was roundabout and I couldn't exit it. And I started composing roundabout waltz. When I thought it is the end, it was really beginning of the repeat. And I was composing this roundabout waltz, and it became very much loved by a lot of people. And it came to attention of American actor late Peter Falk, who played Columba, and he liked it so much that we decided to call it Just One More Thing, because it is exactly the same idea as roundabout. You just cannot exit. You come back. That is what we were doing, and he liked it so much that he asked me then to compose music for his drawings, and it was lovely. So my roundabout waltz, which I composed, learning to drive and experiencing English roundabout when you just keep going. Yeah,
you're stuck in the time. That's awesome. So you met him in person after he heard that?
Yes, I was in the States meeting my other wonderful celebrated family Douglases, for whom I composed for every occasion of a lot of occasions, for late Kirk's now, for his birthdays. I was composing music for I was composing for Michael and Catherine's birthday, which was on the same day, so birthday card. So I was composing for them, even for Michael Douglas's mother, when she had her wedding quite late in life. That's why I called it winter wedding. Yeah, so Kirk liked his Song for a Star, and when they renamed the street Airport Road, became Kirk Douglas Way in Palm Springs, I was flown from England to perform it live, and my piece is called Kirk's Way, and the whole lot which I composed for them is called the Douglas Suite. So I was staying with them and doing concert in their beautiful house, which used to belong to Clark Gables, and it was very much of Gone with. And at that time, Peter Falk found out that I was in the States staying with Douglases, and through his secretary they found me. It was quite a shock, and when they were searching for me, found me, and he invited me to his beautiful house and showed me his lovely, I think, 12 dogs and a lot of drawings which were in his studios, and he gave me as a gift. I carry them in my heart, and I have them in my place, about 3 drawings, and he wanted me to do it like pictures at the exhibition, ideas sort of, and we call this cycle of 10 pieces Images for Drawings by Peter Falk. So, but it started with Roundabout Waltz, renamed Just One More Thing.
That's so awesome. I love old Hollywood. Like that's my time period. So I have to ask the same question with the Douglas family. How did that start? When did you first meet him?
Michael was in London, and he was supporting, I think it was some brain tumor charity, and he was giving a speech in the House of Commons. And in the Parliament, I have a lot of friends, and a couple of my close friends were sitting next to his brother, and they were just very impressed at that moment with something new which I composed, and not knowing whom they were talking, they spent about whole evening after Michael gave his speech, and they saw this lovely couple, which happened to be Michael's brother and his wife. They were telling him what a wonderful composer is Olga, and he got so interested, Michael's brother, and he said, can I please meet this woman? By the way, I'm Michael's brother. And then they met me, and because I was so much into film music, I could hum practically every tune from Kirk's films. And his son was so impressed, and he said, you know what, Olga, I'm doing now a very interesting project film called Smoke and Mirrors, and I'd like you to do music for that. Would you do it? And he sent me the script. But as often it happens in Hollywood, it didn't come to life.
Yep.
Something always, there are some obstacles, and sometimes it does see the end of the project, sometimes it disappears in the process, but a lot of good came from that, and we became friends, and they loved my music and love it, and I compose for them for different occasions. So this friendship I cherish, and this, their warm support means a lot to me, and the fact that they love my music and want it for films, it's very reassuring, isn't it?
It's amazing. So you've done a West End show, The Cherry Blossom. Have you also done a film?
So films film which I did and saw it to the end, it was a documentary, and it was pretty strong film, and director and producer wanted it to be something special because they based it on stories of families who went through Chernobyl. They were English directors, and it was shown on Sky later. But what was for them very important, again, not to have cliche. They wanted something which, when music will talk to your heart. They didn't want something which usually would be normal background for title. And when I gave them a couple of tunes, they said, that is that. We don't want anything else. And it was pretty strong together with the story which they were showing these families, and it worked so appropriate. And they told me if it was something else, it wouldn't have worked. So I was so pleased. I love when I deliver what people want. So but that is what I think now when I got quite a few good, highly recommended and liked songs which got number ones. I would like to do more for film music because that is very me, and you can hear my music is so cinematic, really.
Yes, and romantic.
Yes, so that would be nice because I did a lot of BBC drama, but it would be nice to do something proper feature film.
And so another, I mean, you kind of have amazing audiences that you compose for, because you also compose a lot for the royal family. So how did that come about?
With the royal family, it happened accidentally again, the same as with Douglas's. So I'm so lucky. My friends love my music so much. I never, I would never be able myself to say, but it seems that it affects them so much. They talk about it without me being aware of it. So my friend was working as a trustee for a charity where Her Majesty was a patron, and she suggested when Her Majesty was hosting an event, Golden Jubilee of that charity, called Bereavement Care, which helps people to go through hard losses of loved ones. And Her Majesty was having an event in her palace, in St. James's Palace, and ages before that, I composed a piece in the memory of the Queen Mother called Themes of Life and Glory. When Queen Mother died, and I liked her very much, I just composed it, not thinking that it will never go anywhere, just for myself, as a very uplifting celebration of life. That's why I called it Themes of Life and Glory. My music, even when it is memorial, it is never sad, it is always uplifting. It's celebration of life. And I never thought that it will turn like that. So my friend, who was a trustee at the meeting when they were discussing what from the charity, what shall we give to Her Majesty as a gift, because she has everything. And my friend said, what about a gift of music? They said, oh, what a great idea. And then they found out that it was so appropriate because it was written in the memory of Her Majesty's own mother, and for the charity who is helping to cope with bereavement. So it was a brilliant thing, but I never knew that what would be the reaction. But my friend told me that when she put this piece and they heard it, some were in tears and some just, it was silence, and they applauded and they said, yes, that is what we want. And So this piece was sent to the palace, and then the response was that I was asked to put 5 more pieces, make special arrangement for harp to play during the event by the royal harpist. And I still didn't know that I would be invited myself, but later I found out that I was invited, and I entered the palace and I heard my music played on harp, and I had tears. It was absolutely nothing to compare with. I heard my music played on radio and TV, but hearing it at St. James's Palace, it was a very emotional thing.
Amazing.
But what I didn't know that I would be asked to give my CD myself to Her Majesty. They didn't tell me about it. And while I was already in the palace, they found me, very quickly taught me what is the procedure, how to do curtsy and how to do it. They all told me all that while I was already in the palace, and I thought it won't be. Apparently, they turned it into an official ceremony of me presenting CD for that, and it was something totally hard to compare with something, because it was beautiful. That's that, beautiful, and then it must be received in a very positive way, and this tradition continued. Charity started asking me to do music for every event for the royal family, including birth, marriages, for every event. So for every child, I wrote for every newborn child their own lullaby, and what was wonderful that Her Majesty's favorite band, Royal Marines, recorded whole album called Jubilation, which complied all my royal pieces at the time of Her Majesty's 90th birthday. And this album was released for Her Majesty's 90th birthday, and all proceeds I donated, of course, to the charity. And after that birthday, we had special Christmas edition, Jubilation Christmas special, which included Christmas songs as well. And after that, I continue. It wasn't part of that album. It was my Royal Platinum, where we were working with lovely Joanna and Daniel Cook, and that was for Her Majesty's 70th wedding anniversary, and it was our first with Joanna #1 Royal Platinum love song. Then I did Royal Hollywood love song for the wedding of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. I did for, of course, for all the children for the wedding, and for little baby Meghan and Harry's baby, I did a lullaby. And then last year, about the same period of time, like November, we did with Joanna by my side. That was for Her Majesty. It was 60th anniversary of that organization, and my own 10th anniversary since I was writing for Her Majesty. So we did by my side, which was our second #1, and this year it was our third #1. So it was wonderful. Yeah, so wonderful.
Yeah, it just sounds like incredible memories. So I do have to ask you about Joanna. We love Joanna. So tell us how you guys first met.
I heard Joanna singing. I think I heard a lot of her recordings, and when I heard her on proms singing together with Daniel Cook, I understood that those two as a duet, it's exactly what I need for Royal Platinum. I was composing Royal Platinum, having their voice in my mind. Daniel is absolutely magnificent and great, and very strong, and very big rage, and very emotional. Joanna, for me, she's absolutely unique. Her voice is unique because I love a lot of different sopranos, but they have beautiful voices. What has Joanna, what in my view, I didn't find anywhere else. That's why I called her always, from the first time I heard her. Now it is, for me, properly established, Joanna from the Enchanted Forest, because this magic she sprinkles. So her magic is, she does not, with her voice, she doesn't penetrate with the beauty of her voice. She doesn't go through, she envelops you with her voice. in some sort of blanket of love and beauty, and you don't even understand what's happened. Suddenly you are in this enveloped place. She covers you. That is like that, and that is her voice, which is all around you, and you are there like in the magic web, and you just don't want to leave it. That is Joanna from the Enchanted Forest.
I love that nickname. So now that you know her and everything, so you really write for her voice. You know what parts of her voice you want to bring out and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And sometimes I catch myself that I compose hearing her voice in my mind, and it is so wonderful and helpful because she brings up the soul of my music, the essence of my music, and she's amazing delivering the sense, the way how she brings the sense, the soul, the idea, that is like absolutely priceless.
Well, we loved having
It's a
you
gift.
guys perform the song for us on the concert. That was absolutely amazing. So tell us, how did Flowers on the Doorstep come about?
Flowers on the Doorstep, that is for me very personal, and it is almost sort of autobiographical, but in such a way that it will be easy to relate for everyone. It is about finding your home wherever it is. Home as a place and home as a feelings. Home as a place, for me, London became my home. It is my beloved place, and that is one meaning. But another meaning, to find the feeling of home and feeling of being yourself, where you are accepted and with your identity. That is the idea of home. And what can be more welcoming than flowers on the doorstep which wait for me? And it is, the warmth of this place, it gathers my soul, where flowers on the doorstep wait for me. So flowers on the doorstep, that is the best image of welcome for me. It is the image that something invites you to come, and you accept it, expect it, and want it, and you can be yourself. Bring your identity, whoever you are, and open up, become creative, grow wings, create, because you are yourself. You don't need to pretend, you don't need to hide who you are. That is real home, and flowers are welcoming you. That means you are welcome in this place. And flowers, it's such a beautiful symbol of nature, which we smell, which we admire, we look at it, and it has this beautiful cycle of blossoming, then it becomes dry and still beautiful, like with age we might become ourselves like that. Then leaves fall, and we have beautiful memory of it, and then it comes back again in the blossom next spring. It is something so special in the nature. But flowers became traditionally for symbol for everything. We give them for birthday, for congratulations, wedding, memorial, everything, success, new diploma, the end of the production, flowers. And flowers on the doorstep, that is double positive thing. You are welcome home the way you are. And I found London and became totally myself. I don't need to pretend. I can open up and be myself. And that is what, for me, this song. I wanted to create something very positive. We live in a very hard time. I know that. And I know and absolutely believe that together we will make through the times. And there are a lot of sadness, a lot of loss, a lot of worries about not only health, lives, loved ones, about businesses, about roof over your head. And we have to go through that. We can't cancel it. We can't close our eyes and open it and oh, it was very scary scientific fiction film. And now it's over. Yes, with bit of medical background, scientific fiction. No, it is real. So I thought it is absolutely crucial for us to be able to be happy, to keep going, and to holding hands together all over the world. Art will save the world. I believe in it. Make through that time. We need something positive. And that's why I wanted completely different thing to bring positive vibes with the idea of something which can relate to everybody. And I think it's important that we are welcoming each other to home, and home is there. That is, I think, the idea.
That is
Does it
so
make sense?
beautiful.
No.
Yes. Yes, that is
Good.
very beautiful. So tell us also, when you're not, I mean, I'm sure right now you might have a lot of different ideas for compositions, but when you're not composing, I know you have some dogs. Do you have like a little garden? What are some of the other things you do for fun?
Except my composing, you mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
What else I'm doing?
What else
Yeah.
besides composing? Yep.
Well, what else I'm doing except constantly composing because I love it. No, absolutely, I love teaching because I always thought that it's very important to be a teacher when you are successful at what you are doing. There is common idea sometimes, or if you can't do something yourself, go and teach. Teacher is sort of person who didn't necessarily succeed, because why do you teach acting? Why don't you make films if you are such a good actor? But I thought it is wrong because I came from the country. One thing, we had very good, strong art support, and most of our top famous, most successful actors were teaching, and it was brilliant. And I thought that I will be a teacher, and I think it was Yasha Heifetz, who, when he was a child, we have to check it. I cannot give 100%, but I heard it somewhere. I think his teacher told him, "You are getting so good, Yasha, one day you will be able to teach." But I love the idea that if you are getting good, you can share your experience. You should do it if you are good, really, not if you are failed. And that's why you go and teach everybody how to do something. Yeah. So I thought it is very inspiring to bring your students something that from first hand, and I really enjoy it. And even now during the lockdown, I was teaching online a lot, and I was totally charmed when I was found online by Americans, and we started doing our lessons. And now I had such a lovely surprise. Now it's half term in Europe, and at the moment they went for half term. They're Americans, they live in New York, but they went to Cyprus. And I received message 3 days ago from mother. She said, "Our dearest teacher, I'm so sorry. I know we said goodbye till next week, but we're in the hotel. Two kids, one 9, one 11, found the grand piano in the hotel, and they didn't tell us. They went to the director of the hotel and they said, 'We want to have our piano lesson via Zoom.'"
Wow.
And he said, "But we use piano for our entertainment during the afternoon." And they said, "But what if we do it early morning?" And she wrote to me, "Can you do it at 8 in the morning?" I said, "I can." Are your children mad instead of have a nice sleep and having holidays? No, they can't wait. And we had this lesson in the Cyprus hotel with them on Zoom. And I think that means I do give them inspiration. I really find it very nice. So I do enjoy teaching. I enjoy a lot of things. I'm interested in everything. I love reading. Teaching, I would say, it is my second favorite thing. I like just playing, even, classical music. Yes, I'm reading, I'm walking. I like to help people. Yeah, so few things I like. I even write a little bit, but that is, we see whether it deserves to be more or not. Yes, I
So
mean,
something might come.
it's not just the music. No, it is. I tell you what it is, Natasha. Because I compose constantly something in my mind, it is for some sort of running script. I constantly imagine some situation, and from time to time, some real scripts in my head with plots come to my mind, and I have couple of pieces I cannot really open and tell the truth, but some of my very best and most known and loved pieces were in secret composed with some sort of hidden script, which I thought maybe I should try it. Maybe it will be nice as a package. Yeah, but that is something to explore. That's what I'm trying. Yes, a little bit of script.
That's so intriguing. I love that idea though, because I mean, the music really is just stories, So I'm sure that you're a wonderful storyteller.
Well, it has something, yes. I'm quite interested in completing one of them, and just because it keeps haunting me and coming back to me. So I think maybe I should let it be born once from time to time, even if I come on, yes, get on with yoga, but it keeps creeping back. So maybe I should give it a bit of attention and see what will come out of it. And do everything together with music. Yeah, why not? Fun.
Yeah. Well, if you do, we definitely can't wait to hear that, to keep us entertained during this time when there's not a lot going on, right? It's so great.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, that is very important, and I must say, I so much admire how people manage to use online platforms and keep going, because that what, and it makes, in some weird way, it brought more connections. I think we always have to find something positive in the worst situation, and the fact that we became more creative. We had to become, for this time, more creative, more inventive. We had to look to some absolutely unknown before opportunities. I tell you the truth, I didn't know how to teach online, but I couldn't deny my students that I was doing absolutely strangest thing during the lockdown. I started composing for dogs. Because I adore dogs, and on Twitter I have a lot of following from dogs, and I often was making little videos. Even I go somewhere, I see dogs on the street and they're doing something funny, I put them on video. I decided to put some fun music for those videos and I started calling it Positive Vibes and putting it on Twitter. And it came to the attention of our national press, and 2 newspapers during the lockdown ran the articles, and one was so funny, it was Mirror, Daily Mirror, they called it Royal Composer Puccini, and they spelled Puccini with double O from the word Pucci. And they put my picture with dogs, and they said what I'm doing when I'm not writing for private musical gifts for the royal family. That's what I'm doing. And then they started calling it not Positive Vibes, but positive, like PAW, positive vibes. And then another paper, Daily Express, ran another article on the same subject. So I knew I made a lot of people happy with this doggies video. So if anybody told me that I would be doing that, I became inventive. I decided, why not to make people happy and put my music? It's again small film music, it's in some way film music, but more in a comedy direction. So that was fun. And then I learned how to teach. I was learning with my pupils because some of them, very small ones, like 5-6 years old, and you are not sitting next to them. So I started inventing the methods how to make it clear for them what they have to do being with such a distance. When you teach grown up, it's or even 8, 11, but when it is 5 years old, and we started doing some funny games with this online thing, imagining something. So it makes you more creative. You have to find a way to keep going. You have to stay positive. That is crucial. And for me, one beautiful thing about how we coped with it was uniting and connecting, because it brought a lot of people together all over the world. And in that case, thanks to the internet. Sometimes it is scary what media can do, but in that case, if it is turned into a positive way, it brings people together. This idea to connect, I connected with so many people whom I lost for years. You just feel such situation. World problem brings people together always. Well, I have to check with somebody. I didn't speak for 20 years. Let me see how that is. So I try to find everywhere positive things, Natasha. That's my nature.
That's really beautiful. I feel like you must be such an inspiring teacher, because you can just see your eyes light up when you're talking about the music. So,
well, I hope so, because they certainly enjoy it, my pupils. They enjoy it, and they are very happy when they find out that I compose something new. For them, it is quite a surprise, because they, for little ones, they imagine composing, that means it is like Beethoven, and that is, how can it be? Yes, one of my pupils' mom wrote to me that her little boy was absolutely shocked. He saw her listening to Flowers on the Doorstep, and he saw me on the cover, and he's, what Olga is doing? Because she was today, where is it? It's not our house, where is she staying? So for them it is quite a wow, and it is lovely because it is interesting, you know.
Absolutely. So thank you so much for talking to me tonight, Olga. It's been so lovely to speak to you. You're so inspiring.
It is lovely to talk to you, and anytime. I'm so glad we finally talked face
I
to
know.
face. Yeah, and it's another sign of the times. I'm doing something, then I'm coming to from one room to another. My husband is just finished teaching in Los Angeles. I'm answering, coming from another room, and that is new normal. But
yeah,
let's not be upset about it. If it happens, we found the way, because positive thing is now, even when it was allowed to see each other, one of my little pupils was ill, and he said, "Why? We don't need to cancel it now. We can do it online." So we are trying to bring our experience gained from difficult times to normal time, and it can make life easier. So I think it's very important to keep going.
I agree. I agree. Like just the fact, I mean, we had all this time we could have talked and done an interview of Zoom, but we just never thought about it before this all happened.
No, absolutely. So that is why it is my attitude. Yes, I worry a lot. I think of people, but I think through my life, always in a worse situation, I try to find something to look forward to. And I think while we're alive, there is a hope. And once there is a hope, if we're having right attitude, positive attitude, we can make it.
Thank you, Olga. It's a perfect way to end. And everybody, if you have not already gotten the single, definitely go and download it now.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
So wonderful. Nice talking to you, Olga.
Delighted. Look forward to next one.
Yes. Bye.
Bye.
Join us next time for another episode of Connections. Be sure to like and subscribe if you want to hear more, and go ahead and ring that bell so you can be alerted when we have new content.